Due to the snow days, many SAGE classes have not met for the past 2 weeks. In order to ensure you do not fall behind with completing your independent investigations, I have created this video to teach you the material that would have been covered during class. I will review what you should have completed already and what you should be working on now. If you have any specific questions about your investigation, please email me or call me. So first I want to review the timeline since we should be already up to step 4. So the first step you did was learning about a problem. So you should have a problem statement completed that should be suitable, so it's not too specific or broad. Then you should have asked your questions. So what questions need to be asked in order to get to your end result? So this is the background information that you need to know in order to solve the problem. Then after determining what needs to be found, you should have had a plan of research. So what will I do to find answers to my questions? Where will I find this information? And what tools will I use to collect my data? So this is talking about, are you going to go to the library? What books are you going to get? Why are you getting those books? Are you going to go to the internet? What search engine are you going to use? What keywords might you type in to keep yourself safe? And then are there any experts or mentors you can then interview? What interview questions might you ask? Or are there any museums or exhibits that you can go to? So you have a lot of options, and I'm expecting more than just stating I'm going to the library, I'm going to a museum. I want more specifics. Then now you should be gathering your information. So you should be now implementing that plan of action for your research. So while you gather these sources, I want you to make sure that you're citing them so that way it's not so overwhelming at the end and having to write all of the sources you used. And if you need any help, you can refer to the packet that was provided in class, and that is this packet right here. Now there are different sections for each grade, so this is for grade 2, and then if you flip through you can find the different grade levels. And if you have any questions regarding the citing of sources, you can always email me as well. Now, for the past week's homework, many of you were asked to read through an article and highlight the important information, leaving out any opinions, feelings, and commonly known facts. And I'm going to model what you should have completed so you can check your work. Now, as I said, many different grade levels and classes had different articles, so I'm just going to use one that nobody has completed as an example, and then we'll talk more specifically next week about your article. But so you get an idea of what you should have done, I'm going to go over an example here. So if we look at just the highlighted pieces of this article that I have completed, you notice it says 5 parts, biggest part of brain, cerebrum, 85% of brain's weight, controls voluntary muscles, ones that move when you want them to, thinking hard, memory, short-term memory, long-term memory, and helps you reason. So based off of just the highlighted pieces, you can start to get an idea of what this article is about. But then if you read the margins, so it says uses of cerebrum and characteristics, and then parts of brain. So right there I know the parts of the brain, there are 5. Here's where I'm going to find those 5 parts. Then if I want to know some characteristics and uses of the cerebrum, I'm going to go here and find that it's the biggest part of the brain. 85% of the brain's weight is the cerebrum. It controls voluntary muscles, and if I want to know what voluntary muscles are, it says right here, ones that move when you want them to. Then uses, so it helps you when you're thinking hard, for memory, so both short-term and long-term, and it helps you reason. So I did not have to read this whole article here, and I got the information I needed. So when you're flipping through your 20 pages of articles that you've printed, instead of having to reread every single one of them to find the fact you're looking for, you can just look at your margin and the highlighted information you used. So I want you to check back to what you completed, see if you read just the highlighted parts and the few words you put in the margins to see if you get a whole idea of what your article is about. Now, for next week's class, I want you to be following this timeline and gathering that information. So please bring at least 5 resources you have gathered. So bring in the books, bring in the articles. I want all the things that you've collected so far. And then we'll be reviewing how to take notes and organizing the information provided. But I do not want you to start taking notes until then. You may start interviewing experts and visiting the museums during this time. And remember, many places have that virtual tour or will send materials if you ask them for them. All right, so email me if you have any questions or comments or if anything more specific to your topics, as I said. And again, we'll be reviewing the note-taking process next week, and then we'll continue with our timeline from there. All right. Stay warm, everyone.